Today we are replacing the AC compressor on this 1996 Ford Explorer. We have a brand new compressor here. It came as a whole kit, came with the compressor. This compressor is pre-filled with oil, so we don't have to worry about adding oil. It also came with brand new Drier Accumulator, which is something you always want to replace when you're doing air conditioning work anyway, so this is perfect. Okay, the first thing is absolutely critical when doing an air conditioning job is that you have to get the system evacuated, which means you have to get all the old refrigerant out. You cannot vent it into the atmosphere. That's actually illegal. You can get in trouble for that. You can get fined. So we brought the truck down to a local shop that had a recovery machine, and they vacuumed out all the refrigerant. So we're starting with an empty system here. Very first thing we would need to do is just get the belt off. To do that on this truck, you just got to get this air hose out of the way. You got one clamp here, and that pops off. Disconnect the mass airflow sensor. Disconnect that clamp. It's got a little thing here. You can get that all the way out of your way. Now that's out of the way, we need the belt off. To do that, there's a tensioner way down here. It's going to be hard to see, but all you got to do is get your ratchet in there on this particular one. Everyone's a little different. Alright, the ratchet's in the hole there. You can see when I pull back on the ratchet, it's going to release the tension on the belt. It's spring loaded. So you just release the tension on the belt and pop it off any pulley. So now we just pull the belt all the way off of here. Released out of the way of the compressor. So I'll just kind of set it over here to the side for now. Alright, now we have access to the compressor here. Start here by popping off these electrical plugs. You see here there's a little catch tab which locks it in place. Once you pull those up, it just pulls right off. Just kind of push that out of the way. On the back of this compressor is where the lines go in. You can see right here there's going to be one bolt right between the two lines that holds this. It's called what's that called? It's called a manifold hose, and it's got one bolt. Both lines come off of it. So all we have to do, and make sure again you have the system. Make sure again you have the system drawn down, because if you disconnect this with pressure in there, you're going to vent it right out into the atmosphere, which is bad. All right, we got a wrench on the bolt. You can see it goes right up in here. It's kind of tight. Once you get your bolt on there, you just break that bolt loose, and then it should free up really easily, and then you can just back it out by hand. You can hear a little residual pressure, but that's nothing. There's really no easy way of getting your hands down in there, so you just have to kind of work it. You don't want to drop it. There we go. There's the bolt. That just goes right into the back of that compressor. You can see now the hoses are loose. So now the next step, we have the electrical disconnected, we have the hoses disconnected, we have the belt off of it, so the compressor is ready to come off. On this one it's really easy. It's just got these 4 bolts up top here. Now on this truck, all 4 bolts are going to be the same length. Some vehicles will vary. Some might have different length bolts. So if they're different, you want to mark or remember which holes they went in. But you can see these are all 4 the same length. Set those aside. Now, compressor comes right off. This one has a little extra little piece of wire loom back there plugged into the back of the compressor. It's not an actual plug, but it's just a little clip there. Okay, now that clip's free, compressor just comes right out. You can see here on the back of the compressor you have the 2 O-rings. You'll see on the new one you'll have the same grooves, and this kit from autopartsdirecttoyou.com comes with new O-ring kits, so You're definitely going to want to put new O-rings in there. But yeah, that's old one here, and it's no use to us anymore. If you bought a rebuilt one, you know this is going to be your core, but the kits from AutoPartsDirectToYou.com are brand new, so you can just discard of this or turn it into a recycler because it's a good chunk of aluminum. This is the new compressor. On the back here, this one, right now it's got a block-off plug. That's to keep outside air from getting inside this compressor. So when you go to put it on, we'll take this plug off and we'll put our O-rings in there and it'll go right on. Once you get this plug off here, you're going to see two black O-rings in here. Those are not what you want to use on the truck. The correct ones for the 134A refrigerant are actually green. And if you look in the kit that came with it, you'll see a whole bunch of green O-rings. So you're going to want to find the proper size and replace it with the green ones. Just set it in place and reverse the process of taking it apart. Now, an important note is that these kits from AutoPartsDirectToYou.com already have the correct amount of oil in the compressor. If you have a kit from somewhere else, you have to make sure that the compressor came pre-filled. If it does not have oil, it is absolutely critical to buy the proper kind and add the proper amount of oil to the compressor. Otherwise, you'll burn up your brand new compressor. Alright, now the compressor's bolted on. Next step is to get the manifold hose back on. You want to carefully line up the hole with the manifold hose so you don't knock the O-rings out of there. And it'll just kind of sit there until you put that bolt in. Okay. Now reconnect your electrical plugs. And the compressor part of this is done.